If you've ever been stabbed in the back, betrayed, or hurt by the least expected people, then you're not alone. You might be struggling with bitterness and confusion.
How do I handle this?
No clue. I've been through my fair share of betrayal, but these are the lessons that I've learned to help. Holy God. I've been through my fair share of betrayal, but these are the lessons that have helped me get over it. Most of the time, we're not betrayed in one big event. It's a slow boil over time. If someone is treating you poorly, some might think that you should confront that behavior directly. Confrontation opens a massive can of worms. You have to be really skilled to navigate confrontation well, and it's a ton of work. Here are my 2 filters for deciding if confrontation is worth the work. Filter number 1. If their actions are negatively affecting me, I first ask myself, do I see a future for this relationship? If I don't deeply care about the relationship, then the confrontation isn't worth it, so I move on and slowly detach myself. If they pass filter number 1, I bring on the next question. Will this confrontation serve them in their future? Or is this really an indirect confrontation of my own insecurity? So you can confront someone if it's both for them and for you, and you can confront someone if it's only for them, but you can't confront someone if it's only about you. If it's only about you, you just need to get bigger balls. To figure out if it's really about them, I ask myself these questions. What happens if I choose not to tell them what they're doing? Will they continue to hit a brick wall in their relationships? Will people continue to leave? This quote is important to think about for this concept. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Most people, when they encounter someone who's having some behavior that's negatively affecting them, they just disengage slowly. And that's completely fine because, again, sometimes the confrontation in the relationship isn't worth the work that you would have to put in. So that's fine. But if they are worth the work, understand that if you let the behavior persist, they're going to continue to act within those self-sabotaging behaviors. They're gonna make friends, they're gonna lose friends, and they're gonna wonder why. And if you're a friend, you would tell them why. You might think that a confrontation to benefit your friend's future is noble, and you wouldn't be wrong. But you might be surprised to figure out that noble and brave action isn't always met with celebration. In fact, you might face the opposite. Here's a story to illustrate this concept that I heard from Jonathan Pajot. So there's this really interesting scene in The Dark Knight. There are 4 entities at work within this story. 1, Batman. 2, villains dressed as good guys. 3, good guys dressed as villains. 4, the cops. The cops are obviously on the same side as Batman. And the civilians, the good guys, and the villains, the bad guys, are inversed. So obviously, they're dressed up as the exact opposite of what they are. Batman can see that these characters are inversed, but the cops can't see the difference between good and evil. And Batman has to save the cops from killing the good guys. Batman is supposed to be on their side. This is the person that they least expected a confrontation from. A confrontation that is unbeknownst to them, saving them from killing innocent lives. Moral of the story is, most people can't tell the difference between good and evil even when it's within themselves. Most things that people do are hidden and unconscious. You and your friend are on the same side. When you confront something inside of them that they can't see for their benefit, many times, instead of being thankful, they will actually crucify you. Being right doesn't mean that it feels good. Sometimes they will not understand at all. And you have to be willing to be okay with that and truly believe that you were right in what you did. Confronting the behavior actually matters. Number 3, when I got kicked out of my company, I was the owner of all the design files. And we had teams of developers working on these files. After putting my heart and soul into something, it was taken away from me in an instant. And all I had to do was delete those files, and tens of thousands of dollars would go down the drain immediately. But the emotional cost of bitterness and unforgiveness is heavy. It weighs you down. Oftentimes, the only way to truly be free from it is to let it go. But that is not a passive idea. Letting go actually looks like something. It's active. Bill Johnson has this killer quote: "Physical obedience brings spiritual release." So I transferred the files over to the CTO and it was done. I let it go through physical obedience. Everyone will encounter troubles in their life, but it's how we handle them when they do come that is almost more important than what we're trying to build in the first place. Skills are easy. Character is hard.